I'm Jason, the world is yours, and today we have a story on how to attach a suppressor at a workbench in the Call of Duty Warzone 2 DMZ mode. There are, um, there are, or there is plenty of new content for the Call of Duty, Warzone 2, Modern Warfare, DMZ mode. Fans are excited to in season 3. Not only is there a new faction currently called Redacted to complete missions for, but there are also a plethora of new items available on the maps of Al Mazrah and Ashika Island. There is the barter stations, new backpacks, mini bosses, and most importantly, and the workbench. I wouldn't say that's most important. The workbench allows players to craft new items for themselves and their weapons in the DMZ mode, including attachments such as the suppressor. This happens to come in handy as players need to attach a suppressor to the guns at a workbench for the redacted tier one mission called Upgraded Arsenal. If players want to find out how to complete this mission in DMZ or how to utilize the workbench to their advantage, keep reading the guide below. Attaching a suppressor at a workbench in the DMZ mode. Unlike some other items at the workbench in the DMZ mode, you don't need a specific crafting recipe to attach a suppressor to your weapon. However, there are important factors to remember when trying to attach a suppressor to a certain gun. This is important. For starters, you need to ensure that the weapon you are using does not obviously it does not already have a suppressor, or else you won't be able to attach it. Okay. Secondly, I mean, I guess that's kind of important, but secondly, you don't want to you don't. You want to make sure that the weapon you are trying to attach a suppressor to actually support the addition of the attachment. Some weapons are not able to have a suppressor on them. So check the muzzle section for the gun's attachment to ensure that it supports a suppressor of some kind. Once you have checked those factors, all you need to do is approach a workbench in DMZ, interact with it, and then make your way to the weapon upgrade item. Here, select the gun you want to upgrade. Go to the muzzle section. Obviously, if you're trying to put on a suppressor, go to the muzzle section and keep scrolling until you find a suppressor of any kind. Buy the suppressor for your weapon, and then you're done. Your shots will now be silent in the DMZ mode, but most importantly, players will have completed the upgraded arsenal tier. Yeah, I mean, I would say that's fun. I mean, there's a lot of missions, right? But I would say most importantly, besides just completing this one little mission of putting on suppressor, is that hey, now you have a suppressor, right? Like, you have to realize in a DMZ mode, everything is pretty quiet, so long gunfights will cause a lot of attention. So if you could take out the first front line of an enemy defense of the AIs right before you go into a stronghold, or before, if you're looking for a boss, it would be extremely helpful, right, to have a sniper, not a sniper, to have a suppressor take out one guard, two guards, three guards before everyone, before you get overran by completely cracked and overpowered AI. So yeah, having a suppressor is important. I believe it doesn't mention it in this article, but I believe, the most important thing about suppressors and workbenches is that they cost $3,000. Obviously, it's not free. So getting $3,000 isn't necessarily too difficult. I believe almost all of the contracts on in DMZ are at least 5,000. So if you just do one mission, and you have to do, if you're not a solo player, you have to do certain missions so everybody gets money on the team. Where certain missions only one person can get money, and unless they're friendly, and they could distribute the cash around to other players. But certain missions, everybody gets $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 per completed contract. So I do believe it's about $3,000 to buy a suppressor. It's not just attaching it, right? It's not like you just go and whatever weapon you have, you just attach it. You have to buy the suppressor at a workbench, and I believe it's about 3,000. I could be wrong. Maybe suppressors are a little bit more expensive, but anytime I've been to the workbench area, I believe everything I've seen was about $3,000. I haven't gone completely through every. There's a lot of items in a workbench, and also when you go to workbenches, it seems like AI bots will shoot you. If you go to a buy station, AI bots will shoot you. You don't really have much time to just be standing there interacting, scrolling through the menu with your back turned and not able to defend yourself at a workbench. So that's also another thing to keep in mind. But I believe a suppressor costs about $3,000. Workbenches are right next to buy stations for the most part. I feel like they're all always next to buy stations, or maybe some buy stations doesn't have workbenches, or maybe that was a glitch or something. But I believe a workbench, because also I don't believe a workbench is on the map, right? From what I remember, I don't believe there's a key for, or not a key, but a if you look on your TAC map, that it'll show you where a workbench. I believe it just shows you where the buy stations are. So buy stations and workbenches are basically right next to each other. Like I said, I don't know for 100% sure that every buy station has a workbench. But I'm pretty sure that workbenches are not on your TAC map, and they should be at your nearest buy station. And if you want to if you want to do a suppressor, go to the workbench area, have about $3,000 roughly. Pick the weapon you want to put a suppressor on. It could be a contraband weapon, or weapon you pick up off the ground, or it could be a insured weapon, I believe. But for the most part, just find like a contraband weapon, throw a suppressor on it, and the mission will be complete. But let me know, have you done a suppressor on a workbench in DMZ? Do you bring in suppressors or weapons with suppressors, or have you tried to actually add a suppressor to a weapon on a workbench in a DMZ mode? I haven't done. I believe when I completed the mission, one of my teammates added a suppressor, so I don't think I've ever added a suppressor. I've added optics, like lasers on the contraband weapons, and I believe that's it, but I don't think I've added a suppressor yet specifically. But if your teammate does it also, that's another thing I want to say with before ending this video, is that if the teammate, all missions are together for the team. So let's say you have a mission that you have not completed yet, and if your teammate does it, right, and you have it open and you need that mission done, you don't specifically have to be the one to add the suppressor. If your teammate adds a suppressor, you'll see a check mark off your missions list, and that mission will be complete. So you don't always have to be the one to buy the suppressor at a workbench. If you're in a team and someone buys it on your team, that'll get your mission complete for you also. Very important. But I'm Jason, the world is yours. Today we had a story on how to attach a suppressor at a workbench in the Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 Warzone 2 DMZ mode. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the $1 donation button, and please tune in to the next video on this channel. Thanks a million for watching.